Michael Jackson trial, oddly enough, this quote-unquote molestation that went on with the few accusers who did come up was never, there was no one was touched. So, people were tickled. People were, and had to go to therapy for years. I mean, it was insane that the testimony that was coming out of some of these so-called accusers' mouths. It was like, so Michael tickled you, but while you were wearing your clothes, and that caused you to be scarred for life, and you had to have years and years of therapy. Really? I mean, or are you looking for money? I mean, so
there was that story that you brought up last time you were here when you said something about seeing Michael in the limousine.
Yeah.
A lot of my listeners got very touched on that story. Could you just elaborate before we have one more story, then we'll let you go? Could you just tell us about that again?
I will, of course. When I was covering that trial, I was working with Fox News, and because of that, I was in the very front position. When the entourage pulled up every day, I was in the very first spot. So when the cars would stop, I would be literally standing right next to or one car away from Michael. And on one of the first days, when the whole, it's about 6 or 7 SUVs would pull up, and he would be in usually the second one. And when I looked into that car through the windshield, and I saw him sitting in the back seat by himself, I'll never forget the look on his face. And it was a look of complete and utter loneliness. I don't know how else to describe it. It was a moment that I could feel it through the car, and the weird part was that there was 2,400 credentialed media standing around him. And at the same time behind...
So he was lonely, you could tell.
Yeah. And on the other side of that fence, there were thousands and thousands, hundreds, thousands, I don't know, of fans camped out all around him. So between the media, 2,400 people, and let's say there were, I don't know, 500 fans at any given day, you talk about 3,000 people that are out there surrounding him physically, and he had an expression of such complete, utter aloneness. I mean, it was the world against Michael. You could see it, you could feel it. It was like he couldn't believe this was where he was. And really, I don't think he thought anybody was really going to be able to actually even help him. It was a helpless moment, and it was a moment that I'll never forget. I'll never forget his face, and how in that moment I felt all of a sudden a whole new